where nightmares crawl. Unknown shadows rise and fall. Black moon hovering in the night, whispering secrets out of sight. Gloom enshrouded planets filled with dread. Fears multiplying, insects snapping at my head. Fluid on the ground, black as sin. Hell daggers brace the fight within.
Evening's Freedoms, fighters of Fenrir. Tonight, we have Into the Gloom by Axis for our motivation for the next leg of our journey through the cosmos. Because we are such incredible masters of culture, civilization, warfare, and destruction, simply one alien race trying to snuff us out of existence just wasn't enough. And now it seems obvious that the bugs have some new tricks that they want to show us while the Illuminate maneuver their pet singularity towards our beloved homeworld. I swear, I feel like I'm working at the DMV. Could all alien races just take a number and shut up? I'll get to you in a minute. I'm paid a minimum wage, my boss is an idiot, and I don't get a lunch break. The top news of the day is that despite the overwhelming force and ferocity of this unwarranted insect attack, Helldivers and assisting SEAF Marines safely repelled the swarm with actually a fair margin for error. I mean, as you can see here, the battle wasn't even close. A good number of the civilians from Angel's Venture were safely evacuated during the fight and are now free to pursue new careers and lives on other planets that will hopefully not be invaded or destroyed in the next few days. Again, the silver lining from this is that the biomass collection teams working on Fenrir have been hard at work mulching down the remains of several million predator-strained bugs, and the theory that gloom-infused arachnids generate excess amounts of E710? That turns out to be true. The Nidavellir complex was able to fill its strategic reserves up to the very top, and Jarl Quicksilver was kind enough to donate some of the excess fuel to the Angelic Rebellion that helped his people out. Aw, isn't that nice of him? Thanks a bunch, my friend. That being said, my Seraphim have, once again, folded back into the Liberation Fleet to continue their assignments, and hopefully they will be able to remain undisturbed to finish their work for a time. We have definitely exceeded our catastrophe limit for the month of February. No more, please. Now, some among you may notice that I did not have a broadcast ready for this morning. There were several reasons for this. First was the fact that there simply just wasn't very much galactic news to report on, and, my Super Destroyer was being retrofitted with certain improvements and was unavailable to support this venture. Fortunately, I had a full-dive neural interface and some fist units stashed away here for a rainy day, and if the Nidavellir complex had fallen, that probably would have been the end of me. And let's be honest here, I am way too pretty to die. What kind of improvements did the Bringer see? Well, that's going to have to remain a secret, dear listeners, but I imagine that they will come in handy very soon. In other news, the Helldrakes of the Chaos Divers have pledged to retake Hellmire, where they were originally based at the start of the Second Galactic War, and I have several questions about that, but the most pressing of which is, why? I can't imagine anyone willingly living there, much less fighting over it and wanting to build on it. In fact, I thought for certain that construction there was completely impossible due to the problem of, spontaneous combustion. It's not something that you can fix with a simple air conditioning unit. However, it would appear that the Chaos Divers themselves are having some problems with divisions from within. But the exact specifics and nature of these divisions are still being looked into. Sad as I am to say, this kind of thing was inevitable. I predicted this months ago, in fact. The Chaos Divers were formed as a reactionary measure to the underpowered weaponry, both tactical and stratagem, that we were being issued. Their influence led to a massive paradigm shift in weapons development, and is largely responsible for the warfare superiority that we enjoy today. But here's the thing. Theirs was a movement. It started with a specific goal in mind, and it achieved that. One doesn't hang around the job site after the work has been finished, you know? There's no shame in this. This was a huge victory, and now I imagine the Chaos Divers are seeking a new direction to go in, either as a group or individually. I anticipate the same thing is going to happen to my angelic rebellion, should we succeed in our goal of deposing the ministries of Super Earth. My Seraphim will be permanently dismissed and disbanded to aid in whatever humanitarian causes and or wars interest them, and I would turn myself in to receive judgment for what I've had to do. I have no intention of starting yet another faction with my tail settled on some golden throne. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? So, what is the future of the Chaos Divers? Well, that's largely up to Radical and the Council of Five. I have no influence within that group, nor do I wish any. Their affairs are their own. I simply narrate what is. Speaking of narration, I have also heard that there is to be a memorial constructed on the planet Mars to lives lost during the Angel's Venture catastrophe. As we were heavily involved, several of my Seraphim will be attending the ceremony, along with high-ranking officers from the Gunvault Corporation and the Sentinel Defense Force, under the condition that the Ministry of Truth declare the ceremony a neutral instance on neutral ground, and make no arrest attempts for alleged past crimes. We will show up, be on our very best behavior, pay our respects, and leave quietly. Just to be safe, I'll have my representing operatives and their vessels checked for listening and tracking devices upon their return to the front lines. Like I said, the MOT tends to come at you sideways. Clever girls. Rounding out news for the night are reports from the galactic sphere. While the battle for Fenrir 3 might have been fought and won, the troubles are, by no means, over. Erata Prime appears to have become a nesting ground for the incredibly invasive predator terminids, and in addition to the sandstorms, utterly wretched visibility, and seismic activity, Helldivers are fighting against a stiff decay value of 3.5% an hour. Small gains are reported, however, and Decay is expected to make the jump over to lend some assistance sometime within the next few hours. Full planetary cleansing of terminid life, as of the time of this broadcast, is predicted at a little over 3 days. On the southern frontier, Parsh within the Rictus sector was subject to an Illuminate reading fleet earlier today, and despite the best efforts from the Merc Divers, the Order achieved their abduction quota and departed. Now they attack Andar in the Akira sector, but the peculiarities with the Meridia Singularity persist. The black hole continues to lose dark matter charge despite these successes. It appears that the Illuminate are having problems getting Meridia to do what they want. Interesting. As I said last night, this curiosity first appeared when the Predator strain did. And several days ago, when Garius 2 was attacked, the Illuminate immediately fluffed off from the eastern edge of the southern frontier and haven't been back since. This warrants further investigation. However, I would like to take a moment to set aside the persona of the Radio Angel for a moment and speak on a rather sensitive topic. In one of my Discord groups this morning, I had received word of the passing of someone very near and dear to the hearts of many. Her name was JNP-3R, and she will be enormously missed. I was not privy to all of the details, but I heard enough to guess what happened. While the law has many penalties for the atrocities that we inflict upon others, there are no punishments for the terrors we inflict on ourselves. When it comes to the battle for mental health, it can be a fight more difficult than against that of even the fiercest warrior strain of the Terminids, or any war machine that can be devised, and many feel it is a battle that must be fought alone. But we're never alone. There are communities that can be reached out to, friends that can be leaned on when you feel the burden gets to be too great. And my DMs are always open if you need help. True kindness and compassion is rare in the universe, and rarity imparts value. so that makes it all the more important that I do it. But you, my audience, show it. So if you see your companions flagging, weary from the battle, please lend them a helping hand. Show them that we all lift together. Even if you don't play the game, we are all Helldivers in the beautiful trial called life. And no diver left behind, right? I never got a chance to know Miss JNP-3R, but if I could have, I feel that we would have been good friends. Maybe if we had, she could have been spared this fate. Tolkien once wrote that as long as there is life, there is hope. There's always the chance of things getting better. I am so sorry this happened to you. I wish things could have been different. I did have an astral plant here, but I feel it would be in poor taste right now to launch back into my usual zany self. So I'll just end this broadcast here. Be good to one another, dear divers, and look after each other. There are some injuries that can't be seen, that spill no blood and show no outward sign. But they are painful, and they are lethal all the same.